The Great Moon Melon Adventure. A Grow a Garden story. 10-year-old Emma bounced excitedly in her gaming chair as she opened Roblox for the very first time. Her older brother Jake had been telling her about this amazing game called Grow a Garden, where you could build the most incredible virtual farms and grow fruits the size of houses. "Just remember," Jake called from across the room, "the seed shop restocks every 5 minutes, so you'll want to camp there if you want the good stuff." Emma nodded seriously, as if Jake had just shared the most important secret in the universe. She'd been watching YouTube videos about Grow a Garden for weeks, learning about moon melons and sprinkler systems, and something called mutation stacking that sounded incredibly cool and complicated. Her avatar spawned into the game, a cheerful girl with pigtails wearing a bright green gardening outfit she'd spent 20 minutes customizing. The welcome tutorial began immediately. "Welcome to Grow a Garden," chirped an enthusiastic NPC named Farmer Fred. "Here's your starter pack: 5 carrot seeds, 100 shekels, and 1 basic sprinkler. Plant your carrots in the brown plots and watch them grow." Emma looked at her tiny plot of land. Just a 4x4 square of brown soil surrounded by a white picket fence. It looked so small compared to the massive gardens she'd seen in videos with their towering moon melons and armies of cute pets wandering around. "This is easy," Emma announced, confidently clicking to plant her first carrot seed. Splat! The seed flew completely over her plot and landed in her neighbor's garden, where it immediately disappeared. "Oops!" Emma giggled, trying again. This time she clicked too close to herself and planted the seed right under her avatar's feet. Her character began doing a weird jigging dance as she tried to walk away from the buried seed. "Emma!" Jake laughed, looking over at her screen. "You have to aim for the brown squares." After several more attempts and a lot of giggling, Emma finally managed to plant all 5 carrot seeds in actual soil. She placed her basic sprinkler in the middle and watched with delight as it began spinning and spraying water everywhere, including all over her avatar. "Why is my character all wet and sparkly?" Emma asked. "That's the wet mutation," Jake explained. "Your carrots are going to be worth twice as much because of the rain effect." Emma gasped in amazement. This game was already more magical than she'd imagined. 20 minutes later, Emma's carrots were ready to harvest. She'd earned a whopping 250 shekels, enough to buy, well, not very much according to the seed shop prices. Basic seeds cost 50 shekels each, but the rare ones she really wanted were millions or even billions. "I need to get to the seed shop when it restocks," Emma declared, checking the timer that showed 2 minutes and 37 seconds until the next restock. She positioned her avatar right in front of the shop and waited. Other players were gathering too, their avatars standing perfectly still like a crowd of garden-themed statues. "This is so exciting," Emma whispered, her finger hovering over the mouse button. The timer hit 0. The shop interface flashed with new items. Emma's eyes widened as she saw a legendary strawberry seed for only 2.5 million shekels. "I'll take it!" she shouted, clicking frantically. Unfortunately, Emma had exactly 250 shekels, not 2.5 million. Instead of buying the legendary seed, she accidentally purchased 5 basic tomato seeds, 3 corn seeds, 2 potato seeds, and somehow managed to buy a basic sprinkler she didn't need. Emma stared at her inventory in confusion. "I think I bought the entire vegetable section." Jake burst out laughing. "Emma, you just spent all your money on basic seeds, and you bought another sprinkler even though you already have one." Emma looked at her now empty wallet and her inventory full of ordinary seeds. Then she started giggling too. "Well, at least I'll have a very diverse garden." Determined to make the best of her shopping mishap, Emma decided to plant everything she'd accidentally bought. Her tiny 4x4 plot was about to become the most cramped garden in Grow a Garden history. "Maybe I can make them grow in a pattern," Emma said, optimistically, arranging her seeds in what she hoped was an artistic design. As her new crops began growing, Emma noticed other players had adorable pets wandering around their gardens: moon cats that boosted fruit growth, little crabs that gave passive income, and dinosaurs that made plants grow faster. "I need a pet," Emma declared, checking the pet shop. The cheapest pet was a basic crab for 50,000 shekels. Emma had 12 shekels. She pondered this mathematical challenge for exactly 3 seconds before having a brilliant idea. "I'll just ask someone to give me a pet." Emma marched her avatar over to the nearest garden, which belonged to a player named Mega Gardener Pro 2019, who had an absolutely incredible setup. Massive moon melons glowed with rainbow mutations, elegant sprinkler arrays provided perfect coverage, and at least 20 different pets roamed the perfectly manicured plots. "Hi," Emma typed in chat. "Your garden is so cool. Can I have a pet, please? I have 12 shekels and a dream." For a moment, nothing happened. Then Mega Gardener Pro 2019's avatar walked over to Emma and started doing the laughing emote. "New player," they typed. "Yes. This is my first day, and I accidentally bought all the wrong seeds, but I planted them anyway, and now I want a pet to make friends with." Emma's honest enthusiasm must have been charming, because Mega Gardener Pro 2019 said, "Tell you what, newbie, I'll give you a crab, but you have to promise to take good care of it." A trade window appeared. Emma gasped as she saw a basic crab being offered for free. "Really? Thank you, thank you, thank you," Emma typed, accepting the trade so enthusiastically she somehow managed to include her only basic sprinkler in the trade by accident. "Did you just trade away your sprinkler?" Mega Gardener Pro 2019 asked, confused. Emma looked at her inventory. Yep. She now had a pet crab and no sprinkler. Her crops were going to grow much slower, but she had a friend. "It's fine," Emma announced cheerfully. "My crab can keep me company while I wait for my plants to grow." Emma's new crab, whom she immediately named Mr. Pinchykins, was absolutely the best thing ever. The little orange crustacean wandered around her cramped garden, occasionally pinching other players who visited, earning Emma a few extra shekels, and sometimes did a cute little dance. "Mr. Pinchykins is definitely the smartest crab in the entire game," Emma informed Jake as her pet randomly pinched a fence post. "Look how strategic he is." Without her sprinkler, Emma's plants were growing very slowly. She watched other players' crops zoom through their growth stages while her tomatoes seemed to be taking a leisurely stroll toward maturity. "I need more sprinklers," Emma decided, "but I need more shekels to buy sprinklers. But I need my crops to grow to get shekels, but my crops need sprinklers to grow fast." This logical puzzle occupied Emma's mind for exactly 10 seconds before she had another brilliant idea. "Mr. Pinchykins, we're going on an adventure." Emma marched her avatar and her loyal crab to a random garden that looked successful. The owner, plant whisperer Sarah, had beautiful rows of strawberry plants and a few mooncats lounging in the sunshine. "Hi," Emma typed. "Your garden is beautiful. Can my crab, Mr. Pinchykins, play with your mooncats? Also, do you have any extra sprinklers you don't need? I accidentally traded mine away, but it's fine because I got Mr. Pinchykins." Plant whisperer Sarah's avatar walked over to look at the crab, who immediately pinched her avatar's foot. "Ha ha ha, feisty little guy," Sarah typed. "Tell you what, I'll let you borrow one of my advanced sprinklers if you help me harvest my strawberries. They're ready, but I have so many it'll take forever." Emma's eyes lit up. A real quest. "Yes, Mr. Pinchykins and I accept this mission." For the next 20 minutes, Emma clicked frantically to harvest hundreds of strawberries while Mr. Pinchykins wandered around being generally unhelpful but very cute. Every time Emma harvested a strawberry, she earned a small amount of shekels as a helper's fee. "This is like having a job," Emma announced happily. "Except fun." With her borrowed advanced sprinkler, Emma's garden transformed overnight. Her crops began growing at normal speed, and she even got her first mutation, a golden tomato that sparkled beautifully and was worth 10 times more than regular tomatoes. "I'm basically a professional gardener now," Emma told Mr. Pinchykins, who responded by pinching a corn stalk. But Emma's success was about to be tested. She'd been so excited about her first mutation that she decided to buy more advanced sprinklers with her earnings. The problem was, she didn't quite understand how sprinkler placement worked. "More sprinklers means faster growth, right?" Emma reasoned, placing her 3 new advanced sprinklers right next to each other in the center of her garden. The result was dramatic. Instead of the gentle, coordinated watering she'd seen in other gardens, Emma's sprinkler cluster created what could only be described as a water tornado. All 4 advanced sprinklers activated simultaneously, creating overlapping water effects that made her crops grow so fast they started clipping through each other. Emma watched her tomatoes and corn plants grow into a twisted, overlapping mess that looked like a vegetable sculpture made by someone who'd never seen vegetables before. This might not be optimal. Her crops were growing technically, but they were growing in directions that defied physics, geology, and basic common sense. One tomato plant had somehow grown underground and was now producing fruit that emerged from random spots in her neighbor's garden. "Emma!" Jake called out, looking at her screen. "What did you do?" "I think I accidentally invented a new growing technique," Emma replied proudly. "I call it chaos gardening." Word of Emma's chaos gardening spread quickly through the server. Players began visiting her plot to witness the agricultural anomaly she'd created. Her vegetables were growing in impossible spirals, her corn was producing ears of corn that floated 3 feet above the stalks, and her potatoes were apparently growing in the 4th dimension. "This is either the worst garden management I've ever seen," typed a visitor named Growmaster 3000, "or you're secretly a genius." "Probably the first one," Emma replied cheerfully. "But Mr. Pinchykins likes it." As if to prove her point, her crab scuttled over to one of the floating corn ears and somehow managed to pinch it, causing it to spin like a top. The crowd of visiting players found Emma's enthusiasm infectious. Instead of criticizing her chaotic garden, they began offering helpful advice. "Try spreading your sprinklers out more," suggested plant whisperer Sarah. "You can use the trowel tool to relocate plants without losing them," added Mega Gardener Pro 2019. "Here, take some free seeds," offered Growmaster 3000, opening a trade window. "I have way too many, and you seem like you're having fun with this." Soon Emma had received donations of rare seeds, extra tools, and even a second pet, a moon cat named Princess Whiskers, who immediately began doing adorable figure-8 patterns around Mr. Pinchykins. "This is the best day ever," Emma declared, as Princess Whiskers and Mr. Pinchykins began what appeared to be an interpretive dance routine. "I have 2 pets and my vegetables are defying gravity." After several hours of playing and completely reorganizing her garden with her new tools, Emma had finally created something that looked intentional. Her crops were growing in neat rows, her sprinklers provided even coverage, and her pets were working together to boost her harvest yields. "I think I'm ready for the big leagues," Emma announced, checking her shekel balance. She'd earned enough to afford some mid-tier seeds, but she had her heart set on something special. "I want to grow a moon melon," she declared. Jake looked over from his own game. "Emma, Moon melon seeds cost like 50 million shekels. You've got 75,000. Details, Emma waved dismissively. I'll figure it out. Emma's plan was characteristically optimistic and completely impractical. She would earn money by helping other players save up every single shekel, and eventually, maybe sometime next year, she'd be able to afford a moon melon seed. But the Grow a Garden community had other ideas. Hey Emma, Plant Whisperer Sarah messaged her. A bunch of us were talking, and we want to sponsor your first moon melon. Think of it as a welcome to the game gift. Emma stared at her screen in shock. You want to give me a moon melon seed for free? Well, not just me, Sarah explained. Mega Gardener Pro 2019, Growmaster 3000, and about 10 other players are pooling shekels together. We figured it would be fun to see what happens when you apply your unique gardening style to a legendary crop. A trade window appeared offering a genuine moon melon seed, worth more shekels than Emma had ever imagined owning. Emma's hands were shaking as she accepted the trade. This is the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me in any game ever in the history of games. Mr. Pinchykins and Princess Whiskers seemed to sense the importance of the moment as they both stopped what they were doing and positioned themselves next to Emma's avatar like tiny honor guards. Planting her first moon melon seed was a ceremony worthy of royalty. Emma cleared a special 3x3 section of her garden, positioned her best sprinklers for optimal coverage, and made sure both pets were nearby to provide their growth bonuses. "This is it, everybody," Emma announced in chat as a small crowd of her new friends gathered to watch. "The legendary moon melon planting?" She clicked to plant the seed with the gravity of someone launching a space mission. The moon melon seed planted normally, but Emma immediately noticed it looked different from her other crops. Even as a tiny sprout, it seemed to glow with a faint, otherworldly light. "How long does it take to grow?" Emma asked. "About 30 minutes for the full cycle," Mega Gardener Pro 2019 explained, "but moon melons can keep growing bigger if you keep watering them and they get mutations." "Can they get really big?" "Oh yeah, I've seen moon melons bigger than entire garden plots. Some of them grow so large they extend beyond the garden boundaries." Emma's eyes lit up with inspiration. What if I used all my sprinklers on just the moon melon? "Emma, no," Jake called from across the room, somehow sensing disaster even without looking at her screen. "Emma, yes," she replied, dragging every single sprinkler she owned into a circle around her precious moon melon sprout. Emma's moon melon began growing at an unprecedented rate, with 6 different sprinklers providing overlapping coverage, plus the growth bonuses from Mr. Pinchykins and Princess Whiskers. The melon was gaining size every few seconds. "This is incredible," Emma typed, as her moon melon grew from the size of a basketball to the size of a car. "It's working perfectly." Her spectating friends were amazed. Moon melons normally took careful management over several growing cycles to reach massive sizes, but Emma's enthusiastic overwatering was producing rapid results. "Emma, Plant Whisperer," Sarah typed, with growing concern, "you might want to harvest it soon. It's getting really big." "But bigger means more shekels, right?" Emma replied. "I want to see how big it can get." The moon melon was now the size of a small house, glowing with multiple mutation effects, golden, celestial, and something called gigantic, that Emma was pretty sure she'd accidentally invented. "Emma," Growmaster 3000 warned, "I think it's clipping through your fence." Emma zoomed out her camera and gasped. Her moon melon had indeed grown beyond the boundaries of her garden plot. It was extending into the neighboring gardens, the pathway between plots, and was apparently visible from 3 servers away. "Oops," Emma giggled. "Should I harvest it now?" "Yes," typed about 15 people simultaneously. But when Emma clicked the harvest button, nothing happened. A message appeared. Cannot harvest. Crop exceeds maximum size parameters. Emma stared at the message. I think I broke my moon melon. The massive fruit was continuing to grow, now taking up space in at least 6 different garden plots. Other players were gathering from across the server to witness what was being called the Great Melon Incident of 2025. Don't worry, Mega Gardener Pro 2019 typed. This happened to me once. You just need to use the Advanced Harvest tool. It can handle oversized crops. I don't have an Advanced Harvest tool, Emma replied. Do they cost a lot? About 5 million shekels. Oh. Emma's moon melon had become a server-wide attraction. Players were traveling from distant garden plots just to see the legendary fruit that had grown so large it was affecting the game's physics engine. Some players reported that their own crops were receiving growth bonuses just from being in the same server as Emma's Mega Melon. This is actually kind of amazing, typed a visitor called VeggieVillain99. I've never seen mutation effects this strong. Your melon is basically creating its own weather system. Emma felt both proud and slightly panicked. Her moon melon was definitely the most impressive crop on the server, but she was starting to worry she'd never be able to harvest it. Don't worry, Emma, Plant Whisperer, Sarah announced. We're starting a community fund to buy you an advanced harvest tool. This is too epic to let it go to waste. Plus, added Growmaster 3000, when you finally harvest this thing, the shekel payout is going to be legendary. You'll probably earn enough to buy your own advanced equipment. While her friends organized the tool fundraiser, Emma decided to enjoy the moment. She positioned her avatar on top of her giant moon melon, which was large enough to serve as a platform, and began doing victory dances with Mr. Pinchykins and Princess Whiskers. I'm the Queen of the Moon Melon, Emma declared, making her character wave from atop the glowing fruit. Other players began joining her on the melon's surface, turning it into an impromptu party venue. Someone started a conga line that stretched across the entire length of the massive fruit. This is better than any playground, Emma laughed as players lined up to take screenshots with her legendary crop. 20 minutes later, the community had raised enough shekels to buy Emma not just an advanced harvest tool, but also a premium harvest tool that could handle even the most oversized crops. Are you ready, Emma? Plant Whisperer, Sarah asked as the crowd of spectators grew even larger. Emma positioned her avatar next to her Mega Melon with the ceremony of someone about to cut a ribbon at a grand opening. Mr. Pinchykins and Princess Whiskers flanked her like tiny bodyguards. Ladies and gentlemen, plants and pets, Emma announced dramatically, prepare to witness the harvest of the century. She clicked the premium harvest tool. The moon melon began to shimmer and sparkle, its massive form slowly dissolving into thousands of glowing orbs that spiraled into Emma's inventory. The harvest animation lasted nearly a full minute as the game calculated the enormous crop's value. When it finished, Emma's shekel counter displayed a number so large it had to be written in scientific notation. Is that 2.7 billion shekels? Emma whispered, staring at her screen. Emma, Jake called from across the room, you just became one of the richest players on the server on your first day. The chat exploded with congratulations. Legendary harvest. Emma's the Moon Melon Queen. Best newbie luck ever. Can you teach me your growing technique? Emma was so excited she could barely type. Thank you, everyone. This is the best day of my entire life. Mr. Pinchykins, we're rich. Her crab responded by pinching the air in what Emma interpreted as a victory gesture. With her newfound wealth, Emma could finally build the garden of her dreams. But instead of hoarding her shekels, she had a different idea. I want to create a community garden, Emma announced, a place where new players can come to learn and experienced players can share their knowledge. Emma used her massive fortune to expand her plot to maximum size, then filled it with every type of crop imaginable. She created special sections for beginners to practice planting, intermediate areas with different sprinkler setups to demonstrate optimization techniques, and an advanced section where the most exotic crops could be grown collaboratively. "This is the Emma Memorial Garden for Friendship and Fun Farming," she declared, placing a sign at the entrance. "It's not a memorial if you're still alive," Jake pointed out. "Fine, the Emma Garden for Friendship and Fun Farming." She bought dozens of pets and let them roam freely throughout the garden. Mr. Pinchykins became the official greeter, pinching visitors in a friendly way, while Princess Whiskers led tours of the different growing areas. Players from across the server began contributing to Emma's community garden. Mega Gardener Pro 2019 donated rare seeds, Plant Whisperer Sarah provided advanced sprinklers, and Growmaster 3000 shared his collection of exotic pets. Soon, Emma's garden became the most popular gathering place on the server. New players came to learn the basics, experienced gardeners shared their latest discoveries, and everyone enjoyed the chaotic but welcoming atmosphere that Emma had created. 3 weeks later, Emma had become something of a legend in the Grow a Garden community. Her community garden was visited by hundreds of players daily, and she'd been featured in several YouTube videos about amazing community spaces. But the best part wasn't the fame or the fortune. It was the friends she'd made and the joy she brought to other players. "Emma," Plant Whisperer, Sarah messaged her one day, "there's a new player who just joined the server. She accidentally bought all the wrong seeds and traded away her sprinkler for a pet turtle. Sound familiar?" Emma grinned and immediately went to find the new player. Sure enough, there was a confused-looking avatar surrounded by a chaotic arrangement of mismatched crops and a turtle that kept trying to eat the fence posts. "Hi," Emma typed to the newcomer. "Welcome to Grow a Garden. I'm Emma, and this is my crab, Mr. Pinchykins, and my cat, Princess Whiskers. Want to learn how to turn gardening disasters into gardening adventures?" The new player, Sunny Gardener _2025, replied enthusiastically, "Yes, please." "I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm having so much fun." Emma smiled as she began showing Sunny Gardener 2025 around her community garden, explaining the basics of crop management, while Mr. Pinchykins provided moral support by pinching weeds. "The secret to great gardening," Emma explained, as they walked past plots filled with impossible vegetables and happy pets, "isn't about having the perfect technique or the most expensive equipment. It's about having fun, making friends, and never being afraid to try something new, even if it accidentally breaks the laws of physics." Princess Whiskers meowed in agreement, and Mr. Pinchykins pinched a nearby moon cat in a gesture of friendship. As the sun set over the virtual garden, casting golden light across the impossible crops and laughing players, Emma reflected on how much her life had changed since that first day when she'd planted her carrot seeds in all the wrong places. Sometimes the best adventures begin with the most spectacular mistakes, and the most beautiful gardens grow from the seeds of friendship and laughter. "Ready for tomorrow's gardening adventure, Mr. Pinchykins?" Emma asked her faithful crab companion. Mr. Pinchykins pinched the air enthusiastically, which Emma took as a definite yes. After all, in a world where moon melons could grow bigger than houses and friendship could bloom from the smallest acts of kindness, anything was possible.